Hello, I just want to talk about a part two to the number two of mental notes that I did last week, to the cognitive distortions slash thinking errors. You can look those up on Google or whatever web browser you use, but I just wanted to give a little bit further information on the whole thought, feeling, behavior, as well as list for you just a couple of them to give you an idea of why and how they're damaging. So the thought pattern develops early on, like I said, and then they just circle around your mind in a vicious pattern, and it can feed into both depression and or anxiety and into your self-esteem, because of the negative self-thoughts that can occur because of them. But some examples of the thinking errors are, one is mind reading, which is also similar to jumping to conclusions. And the problem with that is you automatically think you know what someone is thinking, and that it's usually something negative about you. Some of these overlap, so it's also often the same as personalization. And like I said, jumping to conclusions. But the problem is that you don't have proof of that. It's just something you've assumed. And then you start feeling angry or sad or anxious about that person being mad at you. And the simple fact is we can't read people's minds. If I could do that, I would be a billionaire right now, and I can't read people's minds, and I've worked with people for over 30 years. So another example is perfectionism, or what I call shoulding on yourself, SHOULD. Is everything must be, I should always be, and I should never cry in front of others. I can never be late. I should always have the right answers. And what that does is create a lot of anxiety and pressure that's unrealistic, because, as I said in my very first mental notes, the problem with perfectionism is that nobody is perfect. And there's going to be that one time that you run late, or that you don't know an answer. That happens often. We're not meant to know everything. And so it's just about saying, that's something I would like to learn more about, or I am really hoping to go to the gym 3 times a day, instead of, well, I really should be going 3 times a day. There's a difference. And then the last example I have is of the catastrophizing, or what if thinking. So what if this happens, and what if that happens, and oh my gosh, what if a plane crashes through my window and I die? So it snowballs. Now, there is a different type of what ifing that is more problem solving, and that's not a bad thing. So just kind of considering the pros and cons, or, well, what if I did go apply for that job and I got an interview and blah, 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 and thinking that out. And then if you go to an interview, well, what if I do take this job? So that's not bad. It's when it becomes a cycle of just thinking, overthinking, and then it becoming this worst case scenario. And in those situations, I really instruct people and suggest that they think about the difference between a possibility and a probability. And instead of always saying, what if this happens, ask yourself, what if it doesn't? So if you're worried that a plane is going to crash through your window, then say, well, what if it doesn't? And what are the chances of that happening? Is it a possibility? Yes, because anything is possible. But is it a probability? No. So if you like that, click the like and subscribe, and don't forget to make a mental note.